Good evening and welcome everyone. Good evening and welcome everyone. Madam Clerk, please read the welcome. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025, has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, and the Princeton Packet on December 13th, 2024. We will now have an inspiration.
May we carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, do we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Here.
Mr. Kanaki?
Here.
Ms. Carey?
Here.
Mr. Ryan cannot be with us this evening. Mayor Bowman.
Here. Being that this is a financial meeting, today I'm just going to give a quote. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Benjamin Franklin. And now we'll have the proclamation declaring April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the Township of Lawrence. And we'll now read the proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. Whereas trees in our township increase property value, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, whenever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And now, therefore, I, Patricia Farmer, Mayor of Township of Lawrence, hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the Township of Lawrence, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Dated April 1st, 2025.
So this starts.
All right, and now we will have our first opportunity for public participation, and I understand that the task force for the Lawrence Community Center will be coming forth and making a presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Dr. Simon?
Yes.
Okay, David Spalding, 94 Altamar Avenue. Good evening, Mayor Farmer, members of the Lawrence Township Council. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on behalf of the Mayor's Task Force regarding resolution number 346-24 and the future use of the Lawrence Community Center. As outlined in the resolution, the community center has played a vital role in fostering unity, addressing economic challenges, and promoting exclusive development in our township. Its history of providing shelter, food, clothing, and essential services to families in need underscores the importance of ensuring that its future use reflects the evolving needs of our residents. The task force was established to advise council on the concerns of the residents of Lawrence Township, address the mission statement and future vision of the center, engage the community by ensuring the decisions made reflect the overall needs of the Lawrence Township community, preserve the center's legacy for all the residents of Lawrence Township, progress and community engagement efforts. Since the adoption of the resolution, the task force has met multiple times to develop an exclusive engagement strategy. Our focus has been on ensuring that all voices are heard, with a particular emphasis on reaching diverse segments of our community. To facilitate this process, we have planned a community engagement meeting on May 13th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Lawrence High School cafeteria. A historical overview of the center will be presented at 6:30, followed by an open discussion at 7 p.m. This meeting will provide a platform for residents to share insights, concerns, and ideas about the center's future. In addition to the meeting, we are also doing the following things: working on distributing a community survey to collect qualitative and quantitative data on preferred uses for the center, implementing a multi-channel outreach strategy that includes the following things: school and township communication channels, digital media through Lawrence Links, community news, print media and local radio, multilingual materials to reach non-English speaking residents, gathering data on current center usage and recreation department demographics to better understand the existing program and community needs. Alignment with the recreation department proposal is also something we're going to be working on. The task force is reviewing the recreation department's proposal submitted to the township manager on July 31st, 2024. And we find significant alignment with some additional ideas between the recreation department memorandum and the feedback we have gathered to date from the residents. The alignment reinforces the importance of integrating community input into any future plans. Our next steps are as follows. Following the community engagement efforts, the task force will analyze survey responses and feedback from the community meeting, draft a comprehensive report outlining the community concerns, priorities, and their recommendations, propose a mission statement and future vision for the center, present actionable recommendations that preserve the center's legacy while addressing the future and current needs. We also will be establishing a timeline for presenting our findings and next steps to the council. A call to action and conclusion. We appreciate the council's ongoing support and encourage all members to attend the May 13th meeting and help us spread the word to maximize community participation. Our collective goal is to ensure that the Lawrence Community Center remains a vibrant and valuable resource to all our residents. We look forward to continuing collaboration with the council and community stakeholders in the coming months. Thank you for your time and commitment to this important initiative. Respectfully submitted, the Mayor's Task Force on the Future of Lawrence Community Center, Chris Rowley, Chair, and Martha Friend, Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spalding. And thank you for that elaborate presentation on what the task force has been doing to date, and also the findings already with the alignment between the seamlessness that will happen with the transitioning of the community center. So want to encourage everyone to attend the community meeting on May 13th, and also want to thank the task force for all of their hard work today. Thank you. Any other comments from the council? Thank you. Is there any other public participation?
It's nice, it's like a casual. Good evening, Katie Mastiff, 141 Hazelhurst Avenue. I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I just wanted to say that I am disappointed to see tonight that there's a resolution to adopt the budget and go through it by title rather than line by line. As members of the public may not know, I am president of the Township Democratic Club and also secretary for the Township Democratic Municipal Committee. We have had multiple meetings in the last few months, particularly our last committee meeting and our last club meeting and last two club meetings really, where members of this community who are, they're plugged in, they're voters, they knock on doors for elections when needed, they're committed to this community and to making it a better place, have repeatedly said time and time again they want this budget to be reviewed line by line and not by title, and it's disappointing to see that that is not coming to fruition. I know that in my short stint on council, that was something that myself and Councilman Ryan also pushed for and were not able to accomplish. So I do hope that, council will reconsider it, if not for this year, then for next year. I know that it's something that the public would really like. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. And also, just to reiterate, we, the council, we take our responsibility with regards to the budget very seriously. And we do go line by line over the budget with professionals several times before coming to today's voting. But I do understand that there is a public interest in seeing it done in a different format, and that is something that you may consider for the next presentation in 2026. So we hear you. Seeing no additional public comment at this time, let's conclude.
One more.
In the meantime, we didn't hear, the weather didn't affect anything in the town, right? The inclement weather, right? We did.
No disaster.
Great.
No, I'm getting a signal from Jeff here. No.
No, right, we're good? Just about that weather, good.
Hi, my name is Walt Markulik, lifelong resident of Lawrence Township. And I'm proposing that, as we all know, next year, July 4th, 2026, we celebrate 250 years. Is that one, Jim?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We celebrate 250 years of our anniversary. The Declaration of Independence was signed in Philadelphia, as we all know, but the freedom and winning the war was right between Trenton and Princeton. We became from defensive to an offensive militia at that time. And what I'm proposing is, as you can see, is a statuette. I call it the Spirit of '76. And I think we could erect that on the third page. It shows on a pedestal located on the north side parking lot between the retention pond and the parking lot. And would strongly consider Johnson and Terry to make a lifelike, full-size sculpture that would be erected and placed over there. And because of additional traffic possibility, I'm recommending that we put an entrance to West Long Avenue on that side, and a few more parking spots. And what I'm asking the council is to consider, I'd like to do a feasibility study and get back to you within a month of all the pertinent information, which would include how long, how much, putting it on the edge of the retention pond to make sure we're not infringing anything and doing damage there. But I'd like you to consider it and get back to me. The cover note was just a brief message I sent to Kevin prior. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll definitely review it and look at the drawing. And it is an exciting time that the 250th is coming up, and that Lawrence Township absolutely played a role during that time. And part of our history. Seeing no additional public participation, to close out public participation at this time. Are there any revisions to the agenda for tonight?
We have to end, did you want to put on the one for the senior, municipal alliance?
We're taking something off of the agenda as well.
Can we table till next meeting?
You want to table?
10A,
We're tabling 10A.
And A.
10A. As per request.
Okay, and then you were doing this, which one is the other one?
The other one is the application I sent you for the municipal alliance application.
And there is that.
I'm gonna put it on the queue.
Yeah,
Okay, on the queue.
so we
Next
can
meeting?
review it,
Okay,
yes.
so
I'll
we'll
put it
do
on
that.
next meeting.
Thank you.
Oh, you're here. We'll table that, so we have those two revisions.
Was Municipal Alliance on here already, or, okay, so that's not getting
No,
tabled,
that's
that's,
not.
okay.
It's,
I
So we have a
sent it to you.
Any other changes?
Any other changes to the agenda?
Yeah, I have one. For the closed session,
Mm-hmm.
we need to have a discussion with regard to the tax assessor position.
And, okay, I guess we won't have that other discussion.
No.
Okay. All right, so seeing those changes.
These two?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mayor, I'll make a motion to table 10A. I appreciate Councilwoman Perry's tabling it, so I'd love to help craft that ordinance and make it even stronger. And then we will amend Resolution 18H4 to include tax assessor position. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
That's my motion.
Do I have a second?
I will second the ordinance. We need some clarity, so that's why we're tabling it.
Okay. So we have some more clarity on. All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Knappy?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes,
Mayor Farmer?
Yes. Now we need a motion to adopt minutes.
All right, I'll move 10A, regular meeting of December 3rd, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cannappi?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes.
I'll move 8B, the meeting minutes of regular meeting December 17th, 2025.
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cannappi?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Abstain, I was not here.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes. Yes.
And just a correction for that, they should be in 2024, because we're not in 2025 yet.
Oh, right.
We all missed
So
that.
let's take it.
Thank you.
Yes. Can you make that correction? Good eyes.
Good eyes. Don't rush it, don't rush
Yeah. And the awarding and rejection bids. So we've tabled ordinance 10, so we'll move to the adoption of ordinances.
All right, Mayor, if I may, I'd like to move 11A, ordinance number 2488-25, ordinance amending ordinance 2427-22 by the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, in order to revise the description of the improvement herein, acquisition of fire/rescue equipment, ambulance, and equipment.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any explanation needed for
Yeah,
that?
this is a capital improvement ordinance that by law requires a vote by the governing body to revise the purpose of the description to include the acquisition of a fire rescue equipment, specifically ambulance and equipment to address a current need.
Thank you. Is there any,
This is not an expenditure of new money.
okay. Any public comment on this? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cannappi?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to move 11B, ordinance number 2489-25, ordinance amending ordinance 2449-23 by the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, in order to revise the description of the improvement herein, acquisition of fire/rescue equipment, ambulance, and equipment.
Do we have a second?
I second.
No. And Ms. Nowinski, if you could just give clarification.
Yeah,
the
this
difference
is-
Between the two.
This is a companion amendment to a separate ordinance, funding ordinance. So we're using both of these ordinances to fund the acquisition of the ambulance and equipment.
Okay, is there any public comment? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cannappi?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes.
Mayor, I'll move 11C, ordinance number 2490-25, ordinance adopting the regulation of invasive bamboo.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Mr. Nowinski, I guess this is pretty straightforward.
This is amending our ordinance to include invasive bamboo as a species that can be regulated. And this is frequently a situation, we receive calls throughout the year. A resident has bamboo on their property, and because it's such a fast growing thing, it starts to encroach and invade another property. This will allow the township to resolve these matters in a way where we can regulate and provide guidance on how to remove the encroachment.
Is there any comment from the public? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cannappi?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes. And now we're going to the manager's report.
Yes, members of council, this is our time for a public hearing and on the adoption of the 2025 budget. The New Jersey budget law, specifically NJSA 40A/40-8, permits a local governing body to read the budget by its title if it had met certain conditions, which we have met. So we need to have a resolution made and seconded and voted on to allow us to do that.
Okay.
Is Is anybody interested in making this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mayor, if I may, I'll move 12A, number 147, authorizing the budget to be read by title only.
I second.
Need a second? Okay. Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Mr. Babbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Furman?
Yes.
And for the members of the public here, that what we just did is something that the township has done for 25, 30 years. It's just a function of the adoption process. And in our discussions through this process, there was an indication that the governing body has a want for a change of the process to have it read line by line, and we're certainly willing to do that for the next budget process, for
To
sure.
do it publicly. That's a different,
Public reading.
because we do read it and go over it several times line by line as a body individually.
And to, with regard to the adoption of the budget, the 2025 municipal budget of the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercia for the fiscal year 2025. This is a budget that was approved by resolution of the governing body on the 4th day of March 2025. We have complied with the local budget law and JSA 4A:4-1 et sec. The total budget is for $60,445,007.25. The local tax for municipal purpose is $31,179.39. And the tax rate remains stable from last year at 0.652. So this starts the public hearing process. So if council, comments, remarks, any questions?
Okay.
Madam Mayor, may I start?
Yes, if you would, Councilwoman.
So I just wanted to highlight some key things that shows the, first of all, the management of our budget and some key things that could affect our township in the future that we've already put on the radar. I'm sure everyone knows what's been going on in another part of this country, and we won't go into the discussion. But in that, that being said, there's a potential a loss possibly if we do not receive the aid of approximately $4 million. Now, our CFO and our manager has accounted for that so that we would be prepared in case we need to move forward without interruption in our budget. We are also pleased to say that we have collected more sewer tax this year. We have also had, ironically, a flat increase to, an increase to our alcoholic and some of our licenses. And that is something that can really help the township as we continue to grow and use those excess funds to continue to maintain and keep the programs and different opportunities to do other things in this town. A lot of people are concerned about how are we funding new police. Well, there are some police that are retiring and their salaries are much higher than the incoming class. So that keeps the budget for the police flat. We are increasing and hiring 3 new firefighters, which I'm very happy to see, and maybe more to come. But again, we have accounted for that in our budget. Looking at some things that we are funding down the line besides the police and the and fire, the budget has allocated for the repairs necessary for the recreation center, as the task force has been actively working to find the right mix for that. So if there's any other questions, we are here to address them. But those are some highlights that I wanted everyone to know that we are focused on and making sure that we maintain the standard that is in this township.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Councilwoman Perry. And if I can just add that we are really well positioned. This is a really good budget. As you all know, taxes are not going to be raised this year. And I just want to express my thanks to Mayor Nowinski and his staff, especially our CFO Peter, because they've done an outstanding job in preparing us for the future, making sure that we are in a good position for when that rainy day comes, because we know that the current climate, we're not sure federally how funding is going to trickle down to us. So I just want to thank them. There are new businesses that are coming to our township, which is also great. There's new housing stock in our township. There's more revitalization to come of existing properties. And we are adding, as was mentioned, both professional fire and police. And, so I just want to say that, again, it is a very good budget, very thought out, conservative, and, again, planning for a rainy day because of the uncertainty that we face on a national, state, and county level. We know that everyone is going to be tightening their strings this year. And to our residents in our budget, we are making capital improvements, as was mentioned, in our real estate, in our parks, in our roads, in our public safety, and providing exceptional customer service to our residents. That is all accounted for. So we are really investing, again, also in our employees. I can't emphasize that enough. I know that it's really important and it shows in our community and the services that are provided. So I just want to say I support this budget wholeheartedly. It's a positive budget and I will be voting yes. So I just want to share that. And we're all working together to make the improvements and betterment of our town. And it's good to see. Okay.
Madam Mayor, I left out one of the best parts, and correct me if I'm wrong, Peter. We will be debt-free by 2027.
Which is amazing
Which is
for a
amazing.
town to do that. So, yeah.
Continue.
Well, to be technical, if everything
The
goes
bonds,
the way we
planned,
plan.
yeah. I'm speaking it into existence.
All right, okay.
So,
It's a vision board, then
It's a
that's
vision
fine.
board.
You don't take that lightly.
Yes,
And there are a lot of people working on this, our committees, our volunteers. It's really all of us working together in this town that make it happen, that people want to come to Lawrence Township and bring their businesses here. They want to come live here. They want to be educated here. That is all a reflection of the work that we all do, both, as the administrative body, but also as the residents, so, thank you.
Mayor, I just wanted, if you don't mind, I know everybody's thinking it, you referred to me as mayor.
By accident, yes.
I don't want that position.
Manager,
There.
that was it for you. I knew that, okay.
I couldn't let
I like that. Good. You caught that. Good. Everyone's listening. That's good. They're listening.
Are we good to go?
Yes.
Anybody else have any comments?
That's about it.
Councilman Bobbitt?
I'll just say that, I always go into the manager's office and I stop by the CFO as well and say, how's it looking in December? And they always give me the straight on it, and tell me what's going on. So I kind of knew going in that we were looking really good. I was impressed that we could hire as many people as we could without raising the taxes, but at the same time, looking at the valuation of the town based on smart growth throughout the township, our valuation as a municipality has grown, and that's in relation to both wise development, wise redevelopment, as well as having a strong assessor who, taxes properties fairly. I think the assessor is so vital to this proposition, right? Because that's how we sort of base what the tax rate is. And just the smart use of surplus and regenerating the surplus, I looked at where we were 20 years ago, and it was a scary place. We were almost down to using all of our surplus on a year-over-year basis to sort of paper over the cracks. And now we're in a strong, healthy position. And that's reflected in not only sort of what the township can do, but also our bond rating, so that when we need to get more fire equipment or bond for renovations to the community center or anything like that, we save the residents money by being wise about how we're using the money, right? So all great things. And again, I just go back to, seeing all the department heads who are here tonight, giving their presentations and just the sort of, I can't say it another way, just the love of working for the residents of Lawrence Township and just the sheer joy of working in partnership. You listen to, recreation talking about public works, you hear about the police department and public works and recreation and National Night Out and just that community. And it's so palpable in how services are delivered to our residents is because every one of our staff members, from police officers and firefighters, all the way down to the guy cutting the grass, cares about our community, and it shows. And I just want to say publicly, thank you to all of the staff involved. You make us up here look good, so thank you.
All right.
Jim, you have anything or no? Because the next thing will be going to the public.
One, I want to thank council that we're going to have a budget tonight. We got through it. Thanks to all the department heads for being out here and keeping their part tight, not asking for a lot. Our police and fire are always out there doing an excellent job. I can't say enough about you guys. And I'm very happy with being on this council for 16 years that I can say this was one of the better budgets that I'm really proud to I'll be supporting. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, now that we've got all of our comments from council, we will open it up for public comment.
Good evening, Council. Greg Woody. Just a couple questions on the budget. According to the budget message, last year's budget was $60,720,000, and this one up a little more since the introduction. I think you said $60,445,000, I guess. So, but it is less than last year's. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So according to Schedule D in the budget package, you're using $1 million more from surplus. Is that correct? We used $8 million last year, and now this year we're using $9 million. Is that correct?
Did you say Schedule D?
Yeah.
What document is that you're
That
referring
was
to?
in your, so it was on, there was your
Is that what we-
budget message,
what
it was
we-
the package. It was the package.
What we submitted to council, the council.
Yes. I call it Schedule D. It had D on it before.
So the $1 million is being moved over for improvements to the community center. So we have identified that the community center is a center that has been long languishing. We've had the ability to go in with experts to determine what improvements are necessary. And we've identified for this year that is appropriate for us to add $1 million, move it over from the surplus fund to the budget as a plan for a capital improvement.
It would have been nice to see in the budget message a little before. Very good. Quick, so I looked at the budget over council over the past 5 years, and I know budget's not an exact science, You always have to budget just a little bit more, but there's a lot of them that seem to be a little more over budgeted. And one item which just sticks out, and I just wonder if you get some clarification, is fire hydrant service. That hasn't changed in years. That's been billed at $310,000, but for the past 3 years, including this year, or the past 2 years, including this year, we're budgeting $414,000, an extra $100,000. What's the reason for that?
Pete, you could jump in on this one, but I think it has to do with the fact that we don't have the final total for water charges.
Fourth quarter, it's billed after the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, so that's the reason.
It just seems it's the same every year, and it's the same $100,000 that keeps getting pushed back.
Well, that's during this budget period, then we get billed for it, and then that's
It's a constant. Thank you.
What is it? I'm sorry.
What Mr. Police correct, it's a constant. It's a constant.
You're over budget.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you're projecting and protecting it. You don't want to underfund it and then we have a problem.
Well, I can say this to the governing body, when you have a budget and you have to forecast a lot of line items, picking one item is probably not the way to review a budget. And I know that Mr. Politti's been a part of budgets in the past that required our town to really consolidate, to lay off, to have no cost of living increases. So it's a different type of philosophy in terms of how we prepare a budget, how we prepare for the future. And he's right when he says you can't underestimate and under forecast. You must over forecast. But the most important thing for everybody to learn and to understand is that this is not waste. This money, if it's not expended, goes into the fund for us to use as a community should we need it. So this is not a wasteful budget. This is a budget that builds every year. For the past 7 or 8 years, we have reduced our debt. We have maintained or built our surplus, and that makes us a very strong financial community should something happen and we need the money for the future. So it's a conservative approach. It's not wasteful. It's not spending money. It's saving money. And we'd rather err on the side of being conservative and forecast in a manner that we know we're not caught shorthanded in the middle of the year. Because there are times, and you've seen this already last year, where we have to make transfers from one account to another because something came up that we can't possibly know is going to happen. So for me, the way I've spoken with Pete Kiriakakis in terms of how we want to build a budget, how we want to protect this community, and comply with every single New Jersey budget law. We were just audited last year with no issues. We are all independently audited every year with no issues with regard to our finances. So I stand by this budget, and there's a lot of lines in it. So,
Mayor, if I could just say one thing about the fire hydrant fee. I'd spoken with Mr. Politi about this last week, and I took a look back at all of my budgets that I've been a part of, even the one before, so stretching back to 2015. And the fire hydrant service has been $400,000 and $1,400,000 every single year from 2015 until now. So the past 10 years, it's been that number. So yeah, sometimes I guess Trenton Waterworks bills within the calendar year, sometimes they don't. And so the surplus varies, the amount used, but that budget number has always been the same.
It's nothing out of the ordinary. Any other comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll close out public participation.
And Mayor, I have one final comment, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I just want to express thank you to our CFO, Peter, all of our department heads, our police command staff that's here, the police officers that are here, the EMTs and fire officers are here. This is a display of dedication and caring, and we are very fortunate to have people who work for this municipal government who do care, who are knowledgeable, who are experienced, and who are dedicated. And this budget is a reflection of all of their work. It doesn't come from Peter just picking numbers out of the sky or me with my budget philosophy. It's built from the ground up with our department heads and their staff. And we benefit from their experience and the fact that they are dedicated to doing a good job. And I want to publicly thank them all for being here today and being a part of something that I am very proud to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm seeing that there is one additional comment from the public.
Is this on the budget, or are you gonna come back, Mayor?
This is on the budget. Yes.
This is on the budget,
Budget.
okay. No, thank you.
Okay, so at this point, it would be closed, and then
I
we
think
would
we have
take
one more.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Katie Macduff, Hazelhurst Avenue again. I wasn't going to say anything, but I really heard the manager's comments and council's comments, and again, wanted to reiterate, we know that this is not a budget that was thrown together last minute, that this takes months of planning and dedication from Peter as CFO, who does a great job, and I know that from experience. as a lifelong resident of this township. But I just want to underscore that there's questions and confusion, and people don't even know what questions or how to ask them, or they're timid to ask them, or they're not able to come here tonight and ask them. If we had the opportunity to go through it line by line, like it's been said multiple times that there are knowledgeable professionals who have put this budget together. Great, but I don't have any financial training. I'm an attorney, but as Mr. Stipek can say, or maybe differently, I don't like numbers. That's why I became an attorney. I focused in English and in the humanities. A lot of people here are not qualified accountants to be able to look at this budget that's got line after line after line that's so thick you could drop it and it would make a sound, and understand what they're looking at and digesting it. So I get it, the train has left the station, but we said it last year when I was on council that we were gonna go through the budget line by line in 2025, and here we are in 2025 saying we're gonna go through it line by line in 2026, and to trust us because the professionals have drafted it. We wanna hear from the professionals, we wanna hear from Peter, we wanna hear, from the manager, from the CFO, from whoever, but, I get it, I'm not gonna sit here and waste the rest of the 3 minutes, but I just wanna say that there's a lot of frustration. We wanna be part of the conversation and to have it explained to us as residents so we understand where our tax dollars are going, because we're not professionals who are qualified accountants or have, financial degrees necessarily. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Total out of the box idea, I know, like, motion to throw it out here, but is there ever a time where, there could be a public discussion about the budget, even after it's passed? I don't know if that, just for clarification, is that totally unheard of? If people want to know more and provide an opportunity.
Mayor,
I can tell you historically, over the 25 years that I've been connected to the township, there has always been the ability for anybody to come and ask any question and sit down and talk with either Peter or I and ask and have them answer. And it has been done.
Okay.
This budget has been posted on our website since February 4th. And receiving questions from residents about specific items is absolutely
Welcome,
part of
right?
the process.
It's welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm just saying, I know it's kind of out of the box. What do they say? The horse has already left the station. But for transparency, and if people are truly interested in how government works and why we make, the decisions, just offer that opportunity. People may take it or may not take it. But
to your point, I don't see what the problem would be if somewhere down the road, a month or two or whatever, you could have an open house and invite the public in, and you could walk everyone line by line and tell them why.
we do what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because
Talk about the priorities and sort of the push and pull, and this is anticipated revenue. These are the expenditures. These are things that we cannot change because of, labor agreements, things like that. And I think, I think between the manager and the CFO, Mr. Kirikakis, you could be amply prepped for it and tell the whole community what's going on.
right, because for me, I know it's a fascinating experience to go through a budget like this that impacts so many people in great detail and gives me a better understanding of my town and, how the town operates. And if there are individuals in the public who have a true desire to know more and have additional information, perhaps an open house on the finances of our town or something like that, maybe, I don't know, from opening up. But it's public information, it's public knowledge, and like I said, persons of the public are made available the same documents that we have beginning in February of each year. And we are working towards doing something more transparent, like a line by line, but it is a 2-hour minimum process. And if there are individuals who are interested in something like that for education purposes and for knowledge and transparency, and if we can do something like that, I think maybe you may want to consider that. So we'll talk about it some more and see if it's something that is possible.
Madam Mayor.
Mhm.
It is very interesting because when you look at what we've collected and what was anticipated, you know, Peter, you're a rock star. Just looking at one of the favorite things that popped out was we had this discussion about cable TV fees.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's an interesting thing. We all know how expensive cable is. We realized over 347,000 in cable fees. But as everybody knows, less and less people are using cable. They're getting rid of it. So that's a place where fees we had discussed are probably going to go down.
Mhm.
So we don't have an issue. This is it is tedious, but it is transparent. It is right here. And one of my favorite things that we always talk about is the pilot programs.
Yeah.
Well, we thought we would collect 431,000 in pilot. Some people don't agree with it. We collected $793,963. So we will gladly go through this budget because other towns don't have the luxury that we have. We don't. So now that I, as a financial person, have an even better understanding of the budget, we are in a good place. We've budgeted for additional staff, we've budgeted for repairs, and not raised taxes.
Let's see, good workshop. All right. So now,
Somebody to make a motion.
I make a motion to adopt the budget for municipal year 2025 of Lawrence Township.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Madam Clerk, with the motion and second, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. And again, thank you to all of the directors, the staff, the manager for putting together the budget for us to be able to, and we'll see it, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You guys can go whenever.
The next item will be the attorney's report.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, we have a number of items we need to discuss. However, they will be subject in our closed session.
And then, Madam Clerk, do you have a report?
Just two items.
Okay.
You have your financial disclosure statements. They have been passed out. April 30th is the cutoff. If anyone needs help, please let me know. You have yours too. Alrighty. And also, I have certified our two councilmen, Councilman Kaneki and Councilman Bobbitt. I'm happy to say they reached their votes, and I am to be on that primary election. Okay.
So we have two candidates for November. Congratulations, Councilman Bobbitt and Councilman Kaneki.
Congratulations.
Unopposed. All right. Do you have any unfinished business? Do I need- No? Okay, seeing none. New business. Seeing none. This brings us to the second opportunity for public participation, 3 minutes.
Eric Lee, Bunker Hill Avenue. I just had one question about an agenda item. A lot of us in the community have been following the RPM development at the shopping center very closely. It's been ongoing for, I think, almost 5 years now. It's something that a lot of housing advocates have opposed, has a lot of environmental concerns. There's concerns about conflicts of interest. So I just see that there's a bond acceptance regarding it, so if we could just get some insight on what that does, its function and everything like that.
They're ready to go. So this is in preparation of them starting their process. They've gone through the process with the zoning board and fulfilled all of their obligations. So this is part of the process prior to shoveling ground.
So what's it do, the bond?
Ensures performance.
Can you expand on that? This is what we're talking about with transparency. If you could just kind of give us some insight, some color, whatever.
I just need a moment. If we could have just a summary of what RPM is and what it represents.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah. RPM is a development that is occurring on Texas Avenue. It's an affordable housing development in the back of the Lawrence Shopping Center.
It faces
Texas Avenue.
Texas Avenue. Okay.
Kevin, remind me, how many units are in there?
It's affordable housing, right? And it's been approved by the zoning and.
So this bond protects against,
Yeah,
them.
well, pursuant to the Municipal Land Use Act, the bond is for performance by the developer of certain things as outlined in the resolutions by the planning board. And it's standard, nothing unusual. Almost all developments have that, and they're all public record.
Right, it means that they're closer to construction.
Yes?
Yeah.
I'm just not clear what they're bonding for, and I understand that there's a couple others on there. It's just because a lot of people are following this process and this project closely, and so, any insight, I mean, it's a little less than, I think, what a lot of people would like. And again, this is what we're talking about with the transparency. The bodies of the resolutions were included in the agenda, so on and so forth. I think you get a lot less questions like this. Thank you.
So is there something you can share and just put out?
Oh, listen, this came to me out of nowhere, so I can
I
certainly
have-
compile some
I
information.
have the bond, but the bond is to stay in our office, but if you want to see the bond.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out, what it's for, like, is it, for the tree cutting, because they're clear cutting that whole area, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of community
It
members
just
with
states that
questions.
it's a public improvement and safety bond, and in the bond, they just put up a certain amount of money, the irrevocable letter of credit that they put up, that they are required to put up by law.
Sure. And just, that's where I was confused, like, what public improvement, what safety and stuff like that, but thank you.
They didn't put it in, it's not in here stipulated, but I'm sure if you come to the office, we can find out exactly what it covers.
Because that's where it gets difficult. It's the same with the budget. Well, if we come here during business hours, we can have a private meeting, and I can understand, I didn't pre-submit a question for the manager or anything, but like when this stuff's on the agenda, I think there should be a presumption that the question could be asked about anything, And so, yeah, because like I said, it's the project itself is marred in controversy. There's an issue with conflict of interest. Like I said, affordable housing advocates even oppose the project. And so, information benefits everybody because maybe some of the saying could be quelled with that, or sometimes, unfortunately, it's affirmed by them. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening, Council, Madam Clerk, Councilor with an S, Manager. My name is Jim Hooker. I'm a resident of town, and I'm also a founding executive board member of the Friends of Colonial Lake Park. And I was expecting this evening to be giving a thank you for the council adopting a resolution for ELSA, Wheeling Lawrence Sewerage Association, to move its planned pipeline extension from an extremely environmentally sensitive area containing many 100-year-old trees, happen to be home, and well, not the nesting home, but habitat for the bald eagle and others. And of course, shade, view shed, peace and enjoyment for visitors. So from the last meeting of the council, you voted to adopt a resolution to support the Friends Group's appeal for the council to support a waiver, bear with me please, from a state Green Acres restriction that Elsa says stands in the way of moving the pipeline. We trust formalizing such a resolution is hopefully merely something in the details that's going on perhaps at this moment. So that would be the question. Is that what's happening respectfully?
Yeah, I did see, we did draft, there has been a draft.
Yeah, I don't think we're ready this evening to adopt anything, but you're correct in that there will be a formal document, resolution on that.
Okay, thank you, Council.
May I just say something, Mayor? I think the resolution was already passed.
It was.
So it needs to be approved by, and not by a vote. You know, you can just approve it with your authorization to Mr. Sypek, and then it could be forwarded on to the entities that need to see where you all stand with regard to that. So it's not anything that has to wait till the next meeting to do.
There's no additional vote.
We did vote for it, we're just waiting for it to go to the next.
So then the thank you remains in order, and I appreciate it. I thought so, thought as much. I thought it was interesting, Mayor, you opened today with a resolution on Arbor Day and how fitted, you know, here in this township with Drexel Woods, Carson Road Woods, even the Loveless Nature Preserve. Throughout this township, a great caring and appreciation for nature. And I love when you read, and then I looked it up because I lost the back end of the quote in my notes, that trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, providing habitat and promoting a connection with nature. And, you know, that's just perfect. And that's exactly what these trees are doing with the bald eagle up there and the others. In addition, it says to providing clean air and water, if you look that up, and even property values. And of course, conversely, you know, everything is terrible without them, especially these guys, because they're really significant and signature to the park and that area, and critical to the park and that area, and the wildlife, and the folks who enjoy it for that joy and soul renewal and things like that. So I know I've said that maybe a million times, but maybe it can't be said enough. And it's really deeply appreciated. And you heard that last week from a couple of dozen folks we had out, or last time you met, that you've done this. And I hear about it in the neighborhood and from folks visiting the park. So it's greatly appreciated, almost to a point where if this happens, if you're able to do this, similarly to the way you saved the park from hotel development those years ago, you know, it's pretty much beyond words in terms of appreciation, thanks, and gratitude. So thank you very much again.
Thank you. Is this the time of year when you get trees, the little stands of trees? Count down the trees? Is this the time of year when you get the little stands of the seedlings of trees?
It should be.
No?
Yeah, did we get them yet?
Not yet, but it's coming.
It's got much to
Good evening, Sylvia Copus. I'm very glad to hear that those trees in the park are continually that the park is continually being protected for the Colonial Lakelands neighborhood. I would like to renew the ask for the block 503, lots 15 through 26 to be included in Green Acres. And as property values have been mentioned for Colonial Lake. We would like that same privilege extended to Colonial Heights, that our neighborhood is not forgotten on Arbor Day, because those lots are, 2 lots were cleared of trees and vegetations first, but some of them still remain as wooded as they've been for many decades and containing wetlands. So I think that it was great, and as I've said it multiple times from this podium, that I appreciate that Colonial Lakeland's neighborhood had been saved from maybe not very good development of a motel at the edge of it. We would like the same protections for us. Those lots were, there was an attempt to rezone those lots into mixed rezone. And that's the last spot. Those lots are the last piece of publicly owned property in that neighborhood that's not contaminated. So it's a sound barrier for our neighborhood from Trenton Highway. It's a great opportunity to create really nice trails in the woods, in the shade. We do have the towpath very close by, but it runs all along Trenton Highway. It's not a very relaxing walk, especially in the rush hour with all those cars driving by right on the other side of the canal. So I took a walk with my daughter through those lots just recently, and it's a nice walk. It would be a really nice walk, and it connects to New York Avenue, so on the railroad, I believe. So it's a really nice walk. It's a really nice stroll in there. The trail in the Nash Park, and it's not creating a new park. Let's just, I think that's, let's add that. It's an expansion of the Nash Park. Those lots are already connected to Green Acres. So that would only be an expansion, just as it was in Colonial Lake Park. So I would renew the ask and would love for you to consider that. And we would be, in my neighborhood, our residents, we would be very grateful if that had been put into the Green Acres. It had been asked before with the previous council. Unfortunately, it was shut down. So please reconsider that. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe take a walk. I know you know that area, so maybe I would like to take a walk in that area so that I'm more familiar. I go now to the dog park every day. I'm interested in getting to know a little bit more about that. So I think it'd be valuable for us to take a little walk.
Hello, Katie Menta, Hazelor staff, third time's the charm, but I promise it's not about budget.
No.
2 things. One, I just wanted to say that I am very disheartened that time and time again, the solution to so many questions and concerns is to just meet with the manager privately, or to come and have these private meetings and discussions. I get it, and I appreciate that township staff is available to residents, but I don't think I've been at a council meeting in almost a year because it's hard for me to get away from the office. I don't have an hour or 2 hours during my day to step away and have a meeting with the manager to go over things. I'm usually watching the live stream on YouTube. So it's really, like I said, disheartening and sad that the answer is, it's never like, great, we're gonna be open about this and discuss it. It's always, oh, well, manager's available, come meet with him, come discuss it, etc. But more importantly, I just wanted to say that there is I want to say 2 foot high, concrete wall off of Zor Street that basically protects, it's a barrier between Zor Street and a feeder creek that feeds into the Shabakunk Creek. And somebody hit it with their car a few years ago, and it is crumbling and half of it's been destroyed, and the township never repaired it. People have dumped chunks of concrete in the actual creek bed. There's at least 1, if not more, pieces of concrete trash that are down there with like at least a 6-inch piece of rusted rebar sticking out of the concrete. And because the little retaining wall or barrier wall, whatever we want to call it, is half destroyed, a lot of the kids in my neighborhood are now going down and playing in the creek because they're of that age of like 5 to 10 where they're kind of allowed to roam the neighborhood without their parents. And I routinely walk by it or drive by it and they're just like down there playing. Sometimes it's got 2-3 feet of water when we get a lot of rain. Sometimes it's dry, but again, like it's a pretty, like if you walk by, it's a pretty steep drop, crumbling concrete and like 3 pieces of rebar in there. So pretty dangerous. I know some of my neighbors said they were gonna email Greg Whitehead about getting it fixed, but I figured since council's here tonight and the manager, I would just throw it out there that if somebody could come take a look at it, and hopefully we can get that fixed so that way none of the kids get hurt. I think that would be a great thing. Thank you.
Absolutely. Is
I
that,
know, but
that's it on Zoar, is where the,
Yeah,
where the creek is?
yeah, I'm Zor.
So somebody hit the thing, okay.
I think my neighbor's sending Mr. Whitehead photos.
Okay.
Mayor, I have a comment.
Sure.
And this is to everybody in the audience and listening live stream. If you have a question that you know you're going to ask at the public meeting, I used to receive emails from Mr. Politi all the time, asking questions throughout the day, and he would get answers from me. So to Eric Politi out there, if you have a question and you're looking for an answer, we could have this interchange. You could ask that question in public, and then we can have an answer, because I don't know if you can imagine, there are, the budget was on today. There was a lot of other items, and it's very difficult to anticipate, because I know you're looking at the agenda and you're looking for deficiency. So in the spirit of transparency, why don't we just, if you have a question, you can ask that question by email, if you know it in advance, and then we can have that information provided to you as an alternative, because I didn't have the information that you were seeking right now, and I just wanted to offer you an alternative to that.
The other thing I wanted to make a comment of that I know Councilwoman Perry and I have been discussing is doing an open house. We haven't done that in a while because, council, we're very interested in engaging with the public beyond just, council meetings. We'd like to have an opportunity to sit down and get feedback from the community with regards to things that are happening in your neighborhood, that we can address or take notice of. And then, work on it on our end, because we really are interested in engaging more with the public. So,
Mayor, in this day and age, I get emails all the time from residents about all issues.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
And it's the exchange of information is always there. It's just that, hearing things for the first time, you don't have all the information. This particular bond is a part of a process that was approved through the zoning board, and it's a compliance piece. So it's a part of the obligation of the town and the governing body to vote to accept these particular bonds to protect the community, so developers don't just vacate the site and all that. I mean, it's a general reason for what bonds are. But specifically for what this is, I'll make sure to ask Mr. Parvis to provide a memo to better describe the details of it.
Okay, thank you for that.
Because I don't want anybody to think that there's a purposeful denial of information. I would share it with that.
Okay.
Mayor, just one thing. Eric, I had a question about it because it was on the agenda and public participation. It's a project that has been deeply controversial in our community, and trying to keep up on it, trying to follow it. So they had it all staked out and everything like that. I'm not going to get into. I've spoken on this project with a lot of groups. I'm not going to get into it now. What's disconcerting though is when I'm sitting in the audience after I've had my time, I asked my question, got whatever answer I was going to get, and that's it. And then I'm sitting there, and then I'm addressed by name long after multiple people have come up to speak. And it's implied that I'm sitting there looking at the agenda for deficiencies.
I don't believe that, that's.
And I know you don't, Mayor, thank you. This is part of a pattern of behavior that's been going on for a number of years. It's always been very deeply concerning in terms of the interactions with township staff and residents when they have valid concerns. We're not talking about inflammatory things, we're talking issues of policy, which there is frequently disagreement on, of course. There's more than one direction that we can always take.
And that's democracy.
Exactly. And to that point about, reaching out, I've had experiences interacting with the manager that doesn't make me feel comfortable doing that. And so I would just give it food for thought. I don't know how that best gets addressed, but if it involves something like a performance review of the manager or something, you guys should consider doing that perhaps at a meeting, because I don't think that this interaction has happened a lot. I understand. I'm not asking you guys to comment on it. What I'm saying is that I'm a little shaken and upset that it's happened again. And so this time I think it's important to stand up and say this is not appropriate, and I think the council should address their employee. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I will apologize to you if it made you feel uncomfortable, but we're here to have, discussion. We don't always have to agree. There are various viewpoints, and the purpose of our public meetings is to hear from the public. And that's what we're going to do. It won't change. And we'll try not to address people by name if that makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah, listen, I apologize. It was just, we are a community, and I've known the person for many, many years, and
We have someone from the audience.
yeah, I won't refer to people by name. I was trying to offer a solution to, it takes a village to get things right, and I was offering a solution, and I apologize if it was offensive.
Thank you. Councilman Bobbitt has an objection. I was pulling my leg, I hope. Wouldn't blame him if he wasn't. But since Ms. Colbus came up, I figured I should come up and make note of something. I've had the honor of serving on the Trails Open Space and Stewardship Committee for, it's now going to be my 10th year. Time really flies. And Mayor, you're the liaison there, and we hear your reports sometimes here, and love having you as liaison. And I'd just like to make note that, for the record, that this committee, and I'm not speaking for the committee, I don't have that authorization, but as a member who was there, I actually advocated. Ms. Cullis Sylvia has been there, often, as much as a member anymore, and advocating for that green space in her neighborhood and her area. And I took up that lance as well and said, yeah, this makes all the sense in the world, and advocated for it, and maybe even moved to have the committee go on record to advise the council to do this, to make that open space green acres parcels. And when I say it makes all the sense in the world, as Ms. Culver said, it's land we don't have to buy. We already own it. It's not dirty, apparently. There's no toxic stuff, which was a concern some time ago, I guess. Also, it's, as Colonial Lake is, by the way, contiguous to the Delaware State Park, which is the longest ribbon of a state park that we have in New Jersey, which is beautiful and critical environmental habitat. So it runs right up against that, and it's quite beautiful. And so, as I say, it makes all the sense in the world, and I just wanted to sort of second Sylvia's notion here, that we should, I believe we should do that as a township, and I voted for the same on the committee that I serve on, to advise the council that we would support that. We do support that.
Thank you for your comments. And I think I did mention it at the last meeting, what the committee had also shared about their interests. especially with the master plan. As we're doing.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate that. I just wanted to remind everybody again.
Okay, thank you. With that, seeing no additional comments, we're gonna close public participation. Thank you for all of the comments, very good. We are now at the resolutions, if we can have a motion.
Mayor, if it's all right with council, I'll move 18A1 through H4 in block.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes. And now if we could have the refunds. Motion. Would you do that?
Mayor, I moved all.
Oh, we did move them all, we went all the way down, okay. Sorry. And special items, okay. Professional service, how far did you go through?
With the entire
H4, Mayor.
page.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, may I
Okay,
take
now we have reports.
I would like to remind everyone that the Growth and Redevelopment Committee will be having a small business fair on April 30th at the library, starting at 5:30. All those that would like to participate, please reach out through through our website. And also, we will be giving the report on the fire survey next meeting. So the subcommittee will be reporting. Thank you.
Are there any other reports? Yeah. Okay. I do want to report that we did have the unveiling of the Louisville marker last Tuesday. Councilman Bobbitt was in attendance. Thank you for your support. And also just want to publicly thank Mr. Nowinski and his staff and the police are there to assist us with the control of the traffic. And Mr. Parisi, he also helped us with the actual sign, making sure that we were in compliance with everything. It was a marvelous event, well attended. There's some members in the public who are also there. Thank you for attending. For those who don't know, the Louisville marker was a designation representing the location where the first free African Americans that settled in Lawrence Township lived. Excuse me. It was in partnership with excuse me, the Lawrence Township Public Schools, the Lawrenceville School, Lawrence Township. Oh. I'm sorry, I apologize. The Lawrence Historical Society, Lawrence Neighbors Together, I believe, and the Lawrenceville Presbyterian Church. So it was a wonderful event, well attended. I just want to thank the public and all those who helped make it possible. Okay. Yep. Excuse me. And then there was one, I received a written communication from the National Washington Richard Road Revolutionary Route Association, which is in line with the gentleman who asked about the 250th anniversary. I received a letter from an organization that is congratulating us on, I'm just gonna read it. Dear Mayor Patricia Hendricks Farmer, congratulations. You are the senior elected official of the Victory Town of the American Revolution. In 1781, thousands of troops, American and French, passed through your town en route to Yorktown, Virginia, where they forced the British to surrender at the last major battle in our War of Independence. Your town witnessed one of the largest military maneuvers on U.S. soil, leading to the world's first enduring democracy. I'm writing on the eve of our nation's 250th anniversary in 2026 to invite your municipality to partner with us in celebrating the semi-quincentennial. The National Washington Rochambeau Revolutionary Road Association has worked for 2 decades to establish and promote a national historic trail named for the generals who in 1781 led the march of American and French forces nearly 700 miles from New England to Virginia to force the British to surrender on October 19th at Yorktown. In 2026, every American city and town will find its own way to celebrate 250 years. But your community is one of nearly 200 we call victory towns for having witnessed the passages of victorious troops to and from Yorktown. Given your town's role in this history, we would like to include you in our anniversary plans, which include, and I'll just briefly mention what they are. They're educational, there are road signs, there are banners, there's merchandise, there are speakers, and the trail involves many stories of heroism. You realize that 600 French soldiers and sailors lost their lives in the siege of Yorktown, paving the way for our independence. And you have heard about the racial diversity of the Continental Army, especially the Rhode Island Regiment, who took part in Alexander Hamilton's assault against the final defensive position of the British at Yorktown, forcing the British to surrender. And this is signed by Lawrence Trail, who's the president of this organization. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I know that in speaking, we are working and thinking about what we're going to do in our town with regards to the 250th. And with that, I also want to recognize Ms. Bergen, Nancy Bergen. I know that the Recreation Department recently won an award for the Colonel Hand March. And I just wanted to reach out to you and congratulate the Recreation Department on the job well done. And I can't tell you how much I enjoy that march every January. So just want to recognize your efforts on that. Anything else? I think you all received this letter as well? Okay, very well. Okay. That brings us now to our executive session. I want to thank the public for engaging with us in good conversation and discussion. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you to all of you for all the information.
Thank you for
Then let's go into executive session.
Thank you, guys. Whatever you gotta do to get through the day.